All right. I see we are rolling here. How is it going, everybody? Please let me know if these volumes are okay. We got a lot of different scenes planned out today, so everyone in the chat, please feel free to fire at me if things sound wonky or they don't sound good. With that said, before we move on to today's episode, we got to give a major shout out to these Sages of the Lodge. The ones on the screen right here, y'all know who you are. You guys are the realists. You guys are the best. I see we've got a number of you in the chat already, which is awesome. It's going to be a great episode. What can I say? I was one of the people, I thought Dark Road was going to be delayed to the winter. I was ready for it. I was ready for the winter delay, but we've reached a point now where it's going to be here in 2 weeks, and we're here to get hyped about it. I've been thinking about it all day. I've got plenty of theories and ideas I want to share with you guys. But before we do that, please take note of these amazing individuals who make it all possible. Thank you. You guys are the fuel of the lodge, not just the sages, but the fuel. So, with that out of the way, what do you say? We get you guys in here. Oh boy, that looked a little big. That looked a little big. This is what I love about OBS, man. We can just fix it in real time. All right. So today's episode, number 134. Let's give a few hellos to everybody who's here. I see we got a number of sages already. Let's just go down the list. All the early birds: Magical Valkyrie, A Light Within Ben, Mr. Dabaha, DJ Ghoul, a Sage of the Lodge, Gummy Phone, my man, Star Latte with the modding, and let's see, anybody else? Just the Waffle, the legend himself. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. So, Kingdom Hearts Dark Road is 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of companies who they announce things close by, right? If they gave us this release date 2 months ago, we would have been sleeping on it. But now they give it to us, it's 2 weeks away, and now it's fresh, and we're all excited about it. Before I get into my theories and thoughts, let me just say this. I'm super excited for Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, but there's no talking about Dark Road without talking about the fact that this game failed. Now, the story is intriguing. We're all hyped for the finale, but let's just be honest with ourselves. This is probably the first Kingdom Hearts game that Square Enix might consider a failure, just as far as numbers go. They expected this to have the same player base as Union Cross, and at the end of the day, when Union Cross ended, it seemed like the player base said, okay, we need a leveled up experience. They offered us Dark Road, and the fan base basically turned down the gameplay. And because of that, the game got canned, and they're basically going to give us the entire story in one dump on the 26th, which I prefer. Let's be honest. Most of us are into Dark Road for the story. Nobody's talking about the gameplay elements when it comes to Dark Road. It's all pretty much story focused. So one thing I will say is this is the end of an era. This is probably the end of the 2D era for Kingdom Hearts games, especially the mobile games. That's not to say we may not get like a 2D fighter one day or something like that. But as far as these mobile games go in this art style, this is the end. Because when you look at the next mobile game, it's missing Link, and those graphics look almost exactly like the Kingdom Hearts 3 graphics. You know, they're not as high quality, but they're in the same shader, they're in the same engine. So it looks like Square Enix is now committed to keeping those 3D CG models as the storytelling platform. So this is the end of an era for Kingdom Hearts. And it's kind of fitting that Xehanort is going to be a part of that. But let's talk about it, starting with this tweet from KH Insider. Let's give them a little shout out here, who put out this tweet. Kingdom Hearts Dark Road will return with offline mode and the conclusion of Xehanort's journey on August 26th. Which again, that is 2 weeks from today. And I guess that's a good time to mention, we're going to do a watch party next Friday, and then we're going to do a live reaction that following Friday. I'm taking the day off work. We're going to make sure we're ready for it, so don't you sweat on that. But here we are. We're at the end of Dark Road. It is the end of an era. And, you know, they've given us a few pictures, and I got some pictures I'm going to pull up throughout the episode today. They've given us a few pictures to speculate on, and I guess what they were trying to convey with all these pictures, I think we got another one here. This is funny. Relax, it's just one game. How bad could it be 64 years later? But it looks to me what they're trying to convey to us is this is going to cover all of Xehanort's story. Like, this isn't just going to cover that Dark Road era. We're looking at covering from Baby Nort to old man Xehanort. And I don't know how far they're going to go. Like, is this going to stretch until the end of Kingdom Hearts 3? Like, are we going to see a 2D version of that last standoff between Sora and Xehanort? I have no idea. But it's very clear they're trying to convey to us that this game is not only going to show us Dark Road, it's going to show us the time when Xehanort is a baby, it's going to show us birth by sleep, it's going to show us, I don't know, it's going to show us that scene between Xehanort and the Master. So I don't know how far this is going to go, but they're going to show us most of Xehanort's life. Where they stop, if they stop at birth by sleep or stretch it to Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remind, I don't know yet. But it's very apparent that they're going to go through this man's entire life. Take a break for hydration there. So, look, I have a lot of theories I want to talk about today, but first and foremost, let's talk about our man Xehanort here. Let's talk about our boy Xehanort here. So, I think, we're covering this guy's whole life, so we're going to see a lot, and also, who knows how long this is going to be? Like, if we're covering all of Xehanort's life, like, are they going to drop, 9 hours of story content? Like, how much are we going to get? Like, we got 1 hour of 3 episodes. Let's say there's 13 episodes. That would give us 4 more hours. My math might be dog shit, but that's 4 more hours. So who knows how long we're going to get. But as far as Xehanort goes, I have a lot of predictions for what might happen during this time span. I feel like there are some things that we know about Xehanort now, but we never got to see. My first example would be Xehanort discovered Quadratum. Yen Sid let us know that at the end of Melody of Memory, that Xehanort had discovered Quadratum and he was aware of it. Yet, never in Birth by Sleep or any other entry did we see Xehanort think about it, mention it, say it, look at it. We really didn't have much of an idea until the Remind and Melody of Memory content. It wasn't until then that there was any clue that Xehanort had any idea about the world of fiction. So, when I think about the kind of things that we're going to see in a couple weeks, I think we're going to see not only Xehanort discover Quadratum, but how he discovered Quadratum and how that might have affected his plans and affected his motives, right? When Xehanort discovers Quadratum, how does this lead to him concluding that the world needs to be reset? Does he see Quadratum and it horrifies him? Does he know something about Quadratum that we don't? Because it's not like Xehanort saw the world of fiction and said, hey, this is a hope. This is something to be hopeful about. After Xehanort had seen everything, world of fiction included, he concluded that the world needed to be reset. So I'm very curious as to what context we're going to see Xehanort discover Quadratum in and what his impression of it is going to be. Is this something that horrifies him? Does he know that the Master might have something to do with it? I don't know. Is he the reason the Master knows about it? And we'll talk about that a little bit more, but they do also show us that we're going to get to see that scene with Xehanort and the Master of Masters. The same scene that we saw in Remind. And we're not only going to see that scene play out, we're going to see their initial meeting, right? Because when they have that scene and we see them have that exchange in Remind, it's implied that that is their second meeting at the least, right? In their first meeting, that's when he gives Xehanort the cloak. That's when he sends him out on the world tour. The meeting that we all get to see in Remind is Xehanort after the world tour. So I'm wondering, for what purpose did the Master send him out on that? Was it during that world tour that Xehanort saw Quadratum, and was that the Master's way to reach it? Because to me, that's something that we definitely need fleshed out. We can't get through all of Dark Road here and not see Xehanort discover Quadratum and not see how it affects his motives. So I think maybe not first and foremost that's what we're going to see, but that's one of the first things on my mind when it comes to what we want to see out of Xehanort in the Dark Road finale. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about, when it comes to Xehanort at least, is we are aware of Xehanort's motives, that he felt the world was doomed. He felt the world was doomed to fall to darkness, that darkness and light were out of balance, and darkness lay in the pit of everybody's heart, and that their light was a farce. So Xehanort concluded that he needed to open up Kingdom Hearts, reset the world, and rule over it as its leader. And in his own words, as its leader, he would dictate their destiny and stop the weak from polluting the world with their endless darkness. So here's something I'm going to need to see. I need to see Xehanort see that world. It makes his motives and that final scene with him in Kingdom Hearts 3 that much more significant if we see that on his world tour or in his time travel shenanigans, that he sees that the world does eventually fall to darkness, that the world is eventually doomed, right? I don't want it to be that he has a feeling it's doomed or that from his observations he can conclude that it's doomed. If you're going to give this guy those motives and also give him things like the world tour and time travel, I want him to see, if not the outright thing, conclusive evidence that the world as we know it is doomed to fall to darkness. It makes his motives way more clear. It makes that final stand of his much more significant. And in my opinion, punctuates that final scene between Xehanort and Sora. So for me, I not only need to see how this psycho discovered Quadratum, I need to see how he concludes that the world is doomed to fall to darkness. Like, I don't think any of us are going to outright ever agree with Xehanort, but if you could help us understand him more, that would make him a better villain. And I think first and foremost, that can be handled by showing us how he discovered Quadratum, what his impression of it is, and what led to him conclude that the world is to fall to darkness. Everyone take a break for some hydration. And by the way, guys, intermittently, I'll be jumping in with the chat. I see you guys are lighting it up and you got some great comments. I'll be jumping in and out. But while we're on Xehanort, let's see what some of you guys had to say. I saw something I liked from Stephen McBriarty. I think I said that right. In quote says, "This is not what was written. He definitely is going to read the Book of Prophecies." Yeah, that's something too. Show me a Xehanort who's flipping through that Book of Prophecies. It'll give me Sephiroth vibes in FF7 when he's in the underground and he's reading about Genova and his origins. Give me a Xehanort who's just madly flipping through the pages and kind of losing it. I would absolutely love that. DJ Ghoul says, "The thing you said about Master of Masters needing Xehanort in order to find Quadratum got me thinking." Yeah, because you have to ask yourself, what if Xehanort was just a pawn for the Master of Masters? What was his role? Was Xehanort just a long-winded solution to get Sora to Quadratum? What was Xehanort's purpose for the Master? And I have to believe that potentially discovering the world of fiction might be something that Xehanort is responsible for. Noctugel says, "People from Missing Link must have known about Quadratum before Xehanort." Yeah, we'll see, right? We'll see. I think Missing Link is going to answer a lot of those questions. Let's see. A Light Within Ven says, "How much dialogue with Master of Masters and Xehanort, I wonder? Will Master of Masters reveal his name? Seems to trust Xehanort to a degree." I don't want the Master of Masters reveal in Dark Road. Like, please. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm itching to know what his name is, but they've got to save the Master of Masters reveal for a main numbered title. We cannot be doing this in Dark Road. We cannot. Let's see. I see we got Felicia in the chat. Everyone, please follow Felicia. If we got any mods, if we can give Faye a shout out, that would be great. Let's see. What else are you sickos saying? Okay. Yeah, the fighting Data Xehanort quotes. That's right. It's when you're fighting him, he says this is not what was written, which is crazy. It's also crazy that the Master knows that the Book of Prophecies is essentially a guideline, right? It's not like a guarantee. Send Rice Picks, my man, says, "I think we've begun to see it in Dark Road with his interaction with the Disney villains, seemingly possessed by a darkness." Correct. We're starting to see it a little bit, but I need to be sold. Magical Valkyrie says, "Maybe he goes into the far future to see the doomed conclusion." Anything. Mirror, mirror on the wall. So show me the fate that dooms us all. I don't care. And look, we know he's going to talk to that goddamn mirror. Like, I don't care. Show it through there. But show me. Don't tell me. Show me. Just a Waffle says, "Kind of wondering if Xehanort sees his comrades or the upperclassmates to the graveyard." Yeah, we're going to talk about those 4 graves in the graveyard. I think there might be a mislead in there. But we'll get to that. Look, at the end of the day, this is all Dark Road centered. And I have a lot to discuss with Xehanort. But there's plenty of other moving parts, right? I want to talk about Baby Nor and who's in the blue robe and stuff like that. But first things first, I have some predictions. You'll have to excuse me. Let's pull this up. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I want to talk about some of the characters, right? Obviously, Dark Road is going to primarily focus on Xehanort and what's going to happen with him. And I've given you my predictions and theories. I think we see him discover Quadratum. I think Quadratum influences his resolve. And I think he's going to see the future and see an end. Because as we've mentioned in the chat, those battle quotes, this is not what was written, right? He's seeing something new. You know, Sora saving the day, that's not the future he knew. He knew a different future, you know? So I want to see that play out. I want to see that manifest itself in a way. So we're going to talk about Xehanort's classmates. And I want to start with Vord. I don't know exactly how to say her name. I think it's Vord. But I want to talk about her. Now, there's a popular theory, and one that I agree with, that this is Kairi's grandmother. Yes, DJ Ghoul, Sage of the Lodge, just dropped it in the chat. This is a theory and a prediction. It's not my theory. I didn't come up with this, but it's a theory and prediction I've seen thrown around. I 100% agree with. I think Vord is Kairi's grandmother, and we're going to get into that. So let me read her profile here, and then we're going to talk about her mythological influence and how I think that's going to tie into her being Kairi's grandma. So let's start with this. Vord is one of Xehanort's classmates and a fellow Keyblade wielder. Though blessed with tremendous magical potential, she shies away from battle and has yet to showcase her true power. Oh, what's up? Although she brightens the mood with her relaxed and cheerful nature, don't underestimate her. She's much stronger than she seems. Okay, so that gets me excited. There's probably a scene somewhere caked into Dark Road where she's gonna pop off. And as we know, we'll discuss it a little later, one of my predictions for Dark Road is that an apocalyptic event is going to come to Skalad Kylum. And it's going to be just like Ragnarok, just like we saw in Union Cross. But I'll get into that a little bit more later. But let's stick with Vord here. Let's talk about her mythological influence. So as we know, Dark Road and Kingdom Hearts as of late is drawing a lot of influence from Norse mythology. I want to bring her up. Let's do a little catch up, and then I'll get to the part that I think plays into this. So, hey, get out of here. Get out of, what is this? Get this out of here. Jesus. Okay. In Norse mythology, Vord, Old Norse, possibly the careful one or aware careful. Let's remember that. Aware, right? Aware of the history of light and darkness. Anyway, is a goddess associated with wisdom, almost like she would have the wisdom to pass on to a younger generation. Vord is attested in the Prose Edda, written in the 13th century, I see you, Nomura, by Snorri Sturluson, and twice in kennings employed in skaldic poetry. Scholars have proposed theories about the implications of the goddess. So here's the thing, and this is something I find so interesting. A lot of the Norse mythology characters that Nomura is choosing to draw from, there's not a lot of literature on them. They're very niche Norse figures with not a lot of literature on them. So I find that interesting. Let's get to this part right here. Get out of here. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Anyway. Theories. Funny. Don't you love it that there's actually crackhead Norse mythology theorists just like there's crackhead Kingdom Hearts theorists? You gotta love it, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway. Andy Orchard comments, Snorri's, who's the author, etymologizing interpretation is scarcely profound and may imply that he had no access to further material, and notes that references to Vord are otherwise rare. So this character in Norse mythology is lost to history. There's not a lot of literature on them. They appear in a handful of poems, right? Poems. There's not a lot of literature behind these characters, but this is information that's been preserved. And part of the story of Vord is that so much has been lost and that there's not a lot of material to draw from. So original works involving this character are rare. So seeing as that she's been lost to history in Norse mythology, I almost wonder if that's the same fate she's going to have in the Kingdom Hearts story. Her traveling to the future and ending up as Kairi's grandma, right? Taking Vord as this goddess of wisdom, the careful one who's kind of lost to history. The idea that she would make it till she's older and pass on an ancient story to her granddaughter who's a princess of light, it just fits the bill. It just fits the bill, right? I look at, we're going to talk a little Legend of Zelda now. In Legend of Zelda, you have three main themes: courage, wisdom, and power. Link is courage, Zelda is wisdom, and Ganondorf is power. Now, I think this is a trope and a balance that is very real and perpetuates itself in literature. Take the Destiny Trio, for example. Sora is courage, Kairi is wisdom, Riku is power. It completely fits. It fits the bill. If Vor is Kairi's grandmother, it kind of fits that wisdom archetype, which is Kairi's place in the trio, that goddess of wisdom archetype, right? And you see it with Kairi. And I know the memes, all these motherfuckers think she's useless. She ain't useless. She knows the truth. That's the thing about Kairi. Her heart believes the truth. Her heart had the wisdom to hold on to Sora and not let go. Her heart had the wisdom to write that message in a bottle, which got Riku and Sora home from the realm of darkness in Kingdom Hearts 2. In Kingdom Hearts 1, she had the wisdom to give Sora that lucky charm that he took into Castle Oblivion, which in a sense helped guide him. It got a little meshed up with the whole Naminé stuff, but it still was a guide. So Kairi has had a very important role in the story as this sort of wisdom figure. And I think Vor fit in the bill as the goddess of wisdom, lost to history, who passes on wisdom to a younger generation, totally fits the bill. I'm sold. I think Vor is the guy. I think Vor is Kairi's grandmother. And I think in the same way, they say don't underestimate her. She's much stronger than she seems. That's the same thing we got going on with Kairi right now. So I'll leave it at that. Let's see what we got in the chat now before I move on to another character. Nox Flugel says, Kairi is GOAT. I'm telling you, man, people sleep on that character. You don't need to be a powerful warrior to be a good character. You don't need to be a powerful warrior to be a good character. And having a slow burn can be very effective. Don't get me wrong, they can drop the ball and screw it up. They're not beyond that. But anyway, I rest my case. Kairi, okay, let's see. Sunrise Fix says, what if Scala falls to the realm of darkness in Kingdom Hearts 1 and it remains in the realm of sleep? The idea that some of these original worlds are sleeping in the realm of darkness, I absolutely love that. That's a great idea, dude. Valkyrie says, Norse mythology in general has very, very scattered because most of it was oral before Snorri came around to write it. Exactly, and that's why so much of it exists in poems and is scattered. Valkyrie, always great to have you here. Thanks for imparting that wisdom onto us. Justin Waffle says, Nomura has always been cracking those ideas of his. Always. He's a crackhead just like the rest of us. In an endearing way. Also, she wears pink like a certain someone. Yes, well, it's like more of a purplish, but I think her original design had more pink, like in that art. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see. We covered Vor. Who did I want to talk about next? Okay, let's talk about Braggy. Let's talk about Braggy for a second. So I don't think there's too much going on with this character, but I think something interesting is going to happen based on his Norse roots. But let's read his profile here. Braggy is one of Xehanort's classmates and a fellow Keyblade wielder. He often asks Xehanort for his opinion on various matters, whether out of respect or to gauge his intent. Though he acts aloof, he can always hide his passion and enthusiasm. Now, I've seen a lot of people who think Braggy might be Lushu, right? That's a popular theory I've seen gathered around in a lot of circles. Some people think it's possible that Braggy might be Lushu, just because the name looks similar to Braig. I don't think that's the case here. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think he's named Braggy, directly influenced from Norse mythology. I don't think it has anything to do with Braig. I don't think it has anything to do with Lushu. However, Lushu will be brought up later, and I'm sure many of you can guess in what context. But before we get to that one-eyed motherfucker, let's talk about Braggy. So, let's bring up his Norse roots. Braggy is the god of poetry in Norse mythology, which might seem mundane, but when we consider that poetry is one of the ways that Norse mythology, as Valkyrie brought up, has been propagated into our culture, suddenly being the god of poetry in Norse mythology is a very powerful thing. So let's just read his etymology for a second, and then I'll get into some of his story. Bragi is generally associated with braggart, the Norse word for poetry. The name of the god may have been derived from bragur, or the term bragur may have been formed to describe what Bragi does. A connection between the name Bragi and Old English brego, chieftain, has been suggested, but is generally now discounted. A connection between Bragi and the Bragful Promise Cup is sometimes suggested, as a Bragaful, an alternate form of the word, might be translated as Bragi's Cup. I personally abide by the God of Poetry translation, but I want to talk about Bragi. Now, this is speaking of scattered, I have a little bit of a scattered recall of this story, but if I'm not mistaken, no, it's not. Is it Bragi who dies, or is it Bragi, or is it Balder who dies? I think it's Balder. Okay. So I'll save that. So with Bragi, him being the god of poetry, I have to wonder if he's going to have something to do with the Book of Prophecies. That's where my head's at with him. If he's the god of poetry and he's kind of got this, here, let's pull him up. He's kind of got this like cloak and dagger, sly kind of look to him. I don't know. I think this is one of the less important classmates. I think this is one of the classmates that's going to die. I'll get into that in a second. Magical Valkyrie says, which story are you thinking about, Landy? Okay, let's get into it. Valkyrie, maybe you could help plug in my holes here with Hermod. Hermod is the character that I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about Hermod. Hermod is one of Xehanort's classmates and a fellow Keyblade wielder. He may seem like a soft-spoken and gentle model student, but when angered, watch out, he plays the role of a big brother as he looks out for and takes care of everyone. So if I'm not mistaken, in the coming war, being Ragnarok, both Bragi and Balder are going to die. They die in that confrontation. Hermod kind of sets out on a quest to avenge them. And Valkyrie, you let me know if I'm getting this right. I think I have this right about Hermod. It's Balder. Okay, it's not Bragi. It's Balder. We got it right here. Hermod is the son of Odin and the messenger of the Norse gods. He rode to Niflheim to beg Hel to release his brother Balder, who had recently died. So, Balder is going to die. Let me see if I can pull him up. I got to pull him up in a different tab because he's not on the website. So let me pull him up. I think Balder's going to die. If we're going to talk about more predictions here. Oh, perfect. Actually, I built this whole thing out for him. Let's skip to Balder, and then we'll come back to Hermod. So when it comes to Balder, right? Balder, we've talked about in the past. He's a very big character in the Ragnarok tale, and he's a very big character in Norse mythology in general. So when it comes to Balder, he's like a folk hero, man. Much like Sigurd in a way. Balder is he's like your happy warrior. That's kind of his role in Norse mythology. But he's going to die. That's the thing. Balder's going to die. And maybe you guys can help me with this too. He mentions he has a sister in Dark Road, but when I look at his mythological roots, he doesn't seem to have a direct sister. I was hoping I can unlock something there, but there wasn't anything. But I think we see Balder die. This is a prediction. I think when that Ragnarok event comes to Skala ad Kylum, Balder is going to die. Now, if we are to follow the mythological route, bringing up Hermod over here, I think Hermod is going to be one of the classmates to survive. Because in the Norse mythology, he is a survivor. There are 4 graves, and I don't think those 4 graves are guaranteed to be these 4. Right? I think you could substitute out Hermod, put in Balder, and the 4 graves will belong to Balder, Urd, Bragi. But wait, Vor's a survivor too. This is where things get interesting. We don't know who those 4 graves are for. I can't seem to conclusively line them up. But I think here's a chance Hermod survives this. Oh God, my voice cracked. That Hermod survives this and sets out to avenge Balder. If Hermod becomes a villain from this or an anti-hero, I don't know. But that's one of my predictions, is that Hermod might actually be a survivor and will survive to avenge Bragi. Alrighty, let me see. Let's catch up with the chat here for a second. All right. Valkyrie says, basically the story is Frigg, the mother, makes him invincible to everything. The only thing he's not immune to is mistletoe. So Loki gets him shot by an arrow of mistletoe. There you go. That reminds me of the Achilles heel story. Balder dies because of Christian Ramirez, one of the OGs is here. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, Balder dies because of Loki. And we're going to talk about Loki. We still don't have our Loki and our Thor, but we'll get to that. We will get to that. I think all 4 of them are going to die, and if anyone survives, it's Balder, just to subvert the myth. Yeah, that's the thing. It's very possible they subvert the myth here. You know, there's no guarantee they're going to stick to the mythological route. But it's one of the few things that we could draw our predictions from. But it's very possible that Balder does subvert the myth and survives. They could reverse it like Square Pair is getting. Maybe Hermod dies, and now Balder sets out to avenge him, which would be cool. I like Balder's design better anyway, so you won't see me fighting that. Okay. Let's see. I have some notes here. Okay. Let's talk about Urd. So, Urd is interesting. Urd is very interesting. I fell down a rabbit hole today. I fell down a huge rabbit hole today with Urd. Because at first I didn't know what to think of this character. I don't know what their purpose in the story is other than to make Xehanort's story more tragic. I just don't know. I love her design, by the way. I think she's adorable. But let's read her profile. Urd is one of Xehanort's classmates and a fellow Keyblade wielder. She's prudent, cool-headed, and a natural with the Keyblade. She has great instincts and is relied on by others. So she's reliable, she's experienced, and she's reliable, you know? Let's talk about her mythological root for a second. I'm telling you guys, we might be in for something. So I had a little trouble at first finding her because her name in the Norse myth is Juror, and it translates to fate. But I guess we call her Urd here because that's how the scripture looks. It looks like, if you're going to read it as English, it looks like Urd, but it's actually Udor. So that's funny. It means fate. I'll say it again. It means fate, which has become a huge thematic topic. On top of that, there's something I want you to read. So, Juror, I'm going to call her Urd. Urd is one of the Norns in Norse mythology. We'll get into what a Norn is in a minute. Along with Verdandi and Skuld, Juror makes up a trio of Norns that are described as deciding the fates of people. So, just to thematically lay that out, Udor would mean past, Verdandi would mean present, and Skuld, as showcased here, would mean future. So let's think about that. If Skuld is subject X, then she got sent into the future. Urd, which refers to the past, is here in the past. Dark Road, the prequel. Verdandi means present. So I went down a huge rabbit hole for Verdandi, trying to find, okay, so if Skuld is future and she's subject X who got sent into the future, and Urd is past and she's here in the past with Dark Road, then who is Verdandi in the present moment? And I couldn't find anything. Nothing that the name overlaps with, nothing that her archetype or her story overlaps with, and I felt like I was misled. But then I realized something. Missing link. What if we have Urd from Dark Road, the past, Verdandi, who's going to be in Missing Link, and then Skuld, subject X, who got catapulted into the future? Then suddenly having these 3 Norns in Norse mythology all in the story, because again, come on, they're drawn from Norse mythology. We have Udor, Urd, we have Skuld, future, and now we're just missing Verdandi. I really think we're going to see a Verdandi in Missing Link. That is one of my predictions here today. Verdandi will be in Missing Link. Okay, you don't draw from Norse mythology and just take 2/3 of the Norns. He's gonna pull all 3. We need some X-Files music. Oh, we totally do. So I'm telling you, one day people are gonna pull clips from my podcast and put like conspiracy aesthetics over it and make it look like I'm nuts, which will be funny, like X-Files music. But anyway, they're not just gonna pull 2/3 of the Norns. They're not gonna pull 2/3 of them. If you already pulled Urd in the past and sent Skuld into the future, Verdandi's going to be right there as the missing link. I think missing link is Verdandi is Vor. Veru is her name in Japanese. Interesting. But I don't know. Okay, Gummy phone, hear me out. So I'm still sticking with the Verdandi and missing link thing. But if Verdandi really was Vor, who's Veru in Japanese, then that would make sense because she was in Kingdom Hearts 1, which was the present, right? Erd is going to die here in the past. Skuld got sent into the future. And if Vord is Kairi's grandma, that's Verdandi, right? That's the present. But I don't know. I still think we get a Verdandi and Missing Link. I still think so, because then it matches the mobile game thing, right? You have Aurora, Dark Road mobile game. You have Skuld, Union Cross mobile game. And then we would get Verdandi, boom, right there in Missing Link. And all three of them kind of have their own title. Now, the Norns kind of are the overseers of fate in Norse mythology, right? And we've seen how important fate has become to Kingdom Hearts. So I imagine that this is going to play into itself somehow. Okay, so how are we feeling? How are we feeling, guys? We still got a few more things I want to cover before we go, down the chat rabbit hole here. But, man, I don't know. I feel like because of all this mythological influence that Kingdom Hearts is bringing, it's very easy to fall down some rabbit holes. All right, let's keep this rolling. Magical Valkyrie says, well, Landy, there is another goddess in Norse mythology named Var, but is also pronounced or read as Vod, which in Old Norse means either pledge or beloved. So she's the goddess associated with oaths and agreements, an oath to return. I like that. That's cool. Square Pair says, I think Missing Link, it fits the pattern better for them being in 3 different eras. Exactly. That's kind of where I'm at, Square Pair. It's kind of where I'm at. Terrell Bragg says, I start school the day Dark Road comes out. Oh, come on! Bro, what school starts on a Friday? They tipped you off, man. That's screwed up. I'm sorry about that, Terrell. Just the Waffle says, "Who boy? I wonder if Skuld becoming an adult or de-age shrinks for Sykes and Axel, recusing subject X for her meeting Ventus." Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she's aged up at all when they find her. All right. Do you think she might be the Vord in Norse mythology? I don't know. It's tough. In Dark Road, again, same deal. I don't know, but maybe. Will's word, my man, says we are still lacking info regarding Ava, and that is going to return to shock us. Yeah, Ava's a whole other story. Ava's a whole other story. But, sometimes I wonder if Ava's just been among us this whole time, right? I have to wonder if Ava's actually just been among us this whole time, but I don't know. Do you think we see Ava in Dark Road or Missing Link? Okay. Dark Road? Dark Road, I don't know. So look, there's a lot of parallels between Ava and Luxu, right? Like Ava and Luxu can be considered rivals to a certain extent. That's why I have to believe, I wonder if Ava's pulling a similar trick to Luxu, in that she's kind of been like in the shadows or watching in someone else. Like, I don't know. Because foxes can be clever. Yes, they can. They're very sly. You sly fox. Which makes me wonder, she could be working with Ericus. There was something else I wanted to bring up. Actually, let me see if I could find it. We've got an Odin family tree down here somewhere. Where is it? Okay, Odin. Okay, this is it. Norse mythology, right? Where are you? Odin? Here we go. So check out Odin's children. Here's the thing. A bunch of these classmates are actually Odin's children from mythology. So check it out. Odin, Balder. Odin and Frigg, Balder. Odin over here. Here's Hermod. Here's Bragi. And then I think the well goes dry from there. But yeah, here's Thor, right? And we don't have a Thor. You guys let me know what you think about this. And I know we've been talking about like a Thor and a Loki are going to appear, and that maybe Luxu is Loki. But I don't know about that. I think Ericus and Xehanort might be our Thor and Loki. If I'm being honest. Yo, Gummy Phone might have just cracked it. Okay, check it out. What's going on, Grace Kim? Good to see you. I'd say the blonde guy in the trailer's Thor. More likely. But I've always wondered. Because these two could technically fit the bill. Where is it? Yeah, Gummy Phone. Okay, so Gummy Phone has a comment here, right? We're talking about Verdandi, right? Now, Ver can translate to true. And then when you think dandy, you think dandelion. What if Verdandi or whoever Verdandi ends up being. Maybe Ava's name is Verdandi, right? What if Verdandi is the true dandelion? True, dandy, dandelion. That's a really cool thought, Gummy Phone. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Grace Kim says, oh, I can actually see the parallels between Ericus and Xehanort and Thor and Loki. Me too. Thematically, the two of them can work as like Thor and Loki. You know, it could work. So we'll see. If we don't see a Thor and Loki reveal in Dark Road, then we can kind of conclude that Ericus and Xehanort were our stand-ins to be Odin's Thor and Loki. Now let's talk about Odin. Now it's a very popular theory that Odin is Lushu. And here's one thing that has me thinking it, right? Check this out. Master Odin is a Keyblade master and teacher of budding Keyblade wielders. A sage man, his wide-brimmed hat obscures his features, exposing only a single piercing eye. Not a lot is known about him yet. So, obviously there's some big reveal coming with Master Odin, right? So clear. Not a lot is known about him yet. And they're covering up an eye of his. Let me see. Can I really zoom us in here? Oh boy. Oh boy. We just broke the site. We just broke the site. There he is. Come on. I want to zoom in on my boy here. There he is. Okay. Yet. So the design hides one of his eyes. It's the same eye. Is it the same eye that Lushu has eye patched? I think so. But he lost that eye when he fought frickin' Terra, so that wouldn't even matter. But why are they hiding this eye? Right? This man is Lushu, no doubt. That's my best guess, but it almost seems too obvious, doesn't it? Like, doesn't that bother anybody else? Like, doesn't it just seem too obvious that this would be Lushu? Oof, I missed an hour. Well, SMH, don't worry. You can watch it back when we're done, baby. And then it comes up on Spotify tonight. So you can watch it on Spotify, too. Which is a reminder, if you're not following me on YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, make sure you follow me on all platforms. Moving on! Master Odin. It does seem too obvious, the all-seeing eye. It makes me wonder, one step further, right? What if Odin is just a pawn? What if Odin is just a pawn that Lushu is working with, right? Maybe he's not straight up Lushu, but maybe he's a proxy of Lushu. He is wearing Terra-esque pants. Interesting. Which would just be Ericus's pants, right? Oh, so maybe Ericus got it from Odin and Terra got it from Ericus. That's cool. Holy shit, that's a cool feature. These like samurai-looking pants. Starts with Odin. Ericus obviously adopts it, and then Terra's got it. That's cool. Felicia says, I feel like if it's too obvious, it's got to be something else. I know that maybe, you know what would really blow everybody's head off? What if he had a red eye like Yozora, right? What if he had a red eye like Yozora, you know? Because if he has a blue eye, that doesn't mean much. You know, this isn't Naruto, right? It's like there's a Sharingan or a Rinnegan hidden behind that. If it's a yellow eye, then like what? Is he a nobody? That's not a thing yet. The only way I see hiding that eye could be significant is if it's red. And then boom, you see Odin's eye is red. And boom, now Dark Road is connected to the world of fiction in some way. I don't know how. But like, what's behind that eye that can reveal something? What, is he going to be wearing an eye patch? Because again, it doesn't make sense. Lushu lost that eye because he had that fight with Terra in Birth by Sleep. Lushu doesn't inherently have a missing eye. Having a missing eye doesn't just make you Lushu. So to hide this eye means that the eye alone would give it away. So I have to believe that there's a red eye under there and that this is going to connect us to the world of fiction. Square Pair says the problem with that is obvious things have come true. Obvious doesn't mean it won't happen. 100% Square Pair. 100%. 100%. Just because something's obvious doesn't mean we're being misled. It could just end up coming to fruition naturally. There is a model of him without the hat. The eye is grayish like he's blind in it. Okay. Then why hide it, right? Because look, a sage man, his wide-brimmed hat obscures his features, right? What would revealing that to us? He gave his eye away. Ooh, Ooh, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Felicia says, because why is Yozora's other eye red, though? It's got to connect to something we haven't seen yet. Or, like Nox just brought out, he gave his eye away, right? Who did he give his eye to? Or maybe, I don't know. Let's see. And I know in the Norse myth, Odin loses his, there's a trope like Odin loses his eye to see the world, right? So him taking that eye out has to be sacrificial to an extent. And to what end? Maybe he takes his eye out much in the same way the master did. And his eye allows him to see the world of fiction somehow. I don't know. And because he has the knowledge of the world of fiction, he can pass it on to Xehanort. Random idea. Magical Valkyrie says, Odin did lose an eye to gain wisdom, yes, but he basically had to prove himself and go to the edge of death, essentially, in order to gain that wisdom, and gave his eye away to Mimir. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a sacrificial thing. You know, great wisdom doesn't come without great loss. Isn't this version of Odin in mythology supposed to be a wanderer? I suppose. You could see that. How does Merlin fit into all of this? That's such a great question. Wouldn't it be awesome if, like, some teachers at this academy were Yen Sid, Fairy Godmother, and Merlin, and then they found out, like, the academy was corrupt or something, and then that's why they gave up their Keyblade ship? I don't know. Mimir was the guardian of Yggdrasil. Maybe they're like Ericus and Xehanort. Odin equals master of masters. Could be. Could be. Very well could be. A tradition may be passed down from master of masters. Maybe. Imagine the eye as a no-name isn't the master's anymore, but it's his. Yeah, Square Pair, that's what I'm talking about. But then he would have to have blue eyes. Are his eyes blue? Okay, we're really going to zoom on our boy right now. No, it looks gray, kind of like the other one, but that could be the hat's shadow affecting that. He makes his own book and eye. Maybe. Maybe his own book, his own eye, his own Keyblade. Could happen. Okay, I doubt it's... Okay. Ericus described Yensid as an old friend. Are they similar ages? Yensid passes me as a guy who's kind of ageless. Something like that. Okay, let's fix how this site looks now. Let's get back to normal people. Okay, looks like we're gonna have to do a refresh. That is fine. Technology, but yes, Yensid can't be trusted. I don't know if it's so much that Yensid can't be trusted, but he's hiding some truths. He's hiding some truths from us. Okay. There we go. All right. I mean, he does go on to teach Sora magic, so it's really the only thing Sora's been formally taught. True. If it's his eye in the no-name, then would that be how Lushu became the role of traitor? Yeah, I mean, if Lushu ends up being Odin, and then he usurps it by putting his own eye in, that would work, but I'm not sure. So where in mythology does it explain baldness? No. I've been going over this on my live streams. Xehanort shaved his head because he pulled a Britney. Okay? Free Britney. I'm on Team Britney. Okay? Hit me baby one more time. Oops, I did it again. Hell yeah. Anyway. I think Xehanort's going to pull a Britney. I think everything he sees makes him go so fucking crazy. He's like, I need to start over. Ericus. I need to shave my head. You know? I don't know. That's always been my theory. Goofy shit aside, let's see. Did I cover everything? No, I have not. We need to talk about the blue robe. We need to talk about the blue robe and Baby Nort. We need to talk about the blue robe and Baby Nort. Let me see if I can find a picture that we can quickly reference. All right, let me pull it up real quick. Let's pull up Baby Nort. Baby's a... Oh, wait, no. I did this earlier in the day because I was good. All right. I was good. All right. Your boy did his homework today. There we go. Let's talk about this, shall we? Because this is something else. This is something else. So, first things first, we've now learned that this little shack back here, all this time, and this is the stuff I love, man. The recontextualizing or further fleshing out of some of the stuff we saw in Kingdom Hearts 1 is some of the coolest stuff this series has done lately. Like, seriously. So, we see this shack from Kingdom Hearts 1, and that's where Baby Nort lived. Which, I don't know if we have any Naruto fans out there, but doesn't Baby Xehanort give you Baby Sasuke vibes? Because he does for me. But let's talk about the blue robe. Okay, everybody just drop your prediction of who the blue robe is in the chat. Drop your prediction. I wish YouTube could do polls like Twitch can, because I would totally put up a poll right now. I would love to see what the audience thinks. But who are we thinking? Is this Ephemer? Is this Ava? Is this Brain? Who do we have here? I'm on Team Ephemer. I think this is Ephemer. But I'm curious what the chat thinks. Okay, Valkyrie says Ephemer. Square Pair says Ephemer. SMH says Ephemer. DJ Ghoul says Brain. All right, we got 3-1 Ephemer over Brain. Coming Phone says, I'm under the impression Blue Robe is Ephemer. Could only be an unknown if not. Yes, because he was in Scala, right? You know? That's an important thing. It has to be somebody from Scala. So that's why I understand why it could be between Ephemer and Brain. Now, Xehanort starts literally morphing so that he looks like a shadow. Okay. I buy that. Also, didn't Yensid have a book in Kingdom Hearts 2 that talked about the past, present, and future? Yeah, I made a theory on this that Yensid's had a book of prophecies this whole time. I made a theory on this like a year and a half ago, but in Kingdom Hearts 2, in the very beginning of the game, if you go up to the book on Yensid's desk, you can read 3 chapters. The past, the present, and the future. Worth thinking about. Lamb! Sage of the Lodge, the newest Sage of the Lodge, says sorry for joining late. Don't worry about it, man. Madara Uchiha, yeah, baby. Big Madara energy. DJ Ghoul says, Brain, Ephemer is a dead statue for me. Yeah, but was Xehanort born before or after that statue? You. The blue robe is us? Oh, boy. Oh, boy, now you got me. No, but I've got reason to believe this is Ephemer. That would be my best guess. Just because, again, for whoever's in this blue robe, it has to be someone that's in Scala. So we have 3 suspects. Sigurd, Ephemer, Brain. I saw Ava get brought up as potentially this could be Ava. But whoever's in this robe does die on Destiny Islands, right? We saw that in one of the scenes, is whoever this is dies on Destiny Islands. I don't like the idea that Ava's going to die in a mobile game and we won't get to see her 3D rendered again or something like that. But, you know, there's always the power of waking and stuff. But I have to believe this is Ephemer, right? Ephemer was a guy, he built Scala and he built the future. You know? Him having something to do with Xehanort just makes sense to me. And Sasuke was used as inspiration for Noctis, who is now Yozora. Really? I mean, we've all always known that there's been a lot of back and forth between Kingdom Hearts and Naruto, but I didn't know that Noctis and Yozora was directly inspired by Sasuke. Black Red Pills 2 says, I am torn between Brain and Ephemer, as Ephemer had a strong connection to Player. Yes, there it is again. There it is again. Ephemer had that connection with Player. The timeline is the only thing required to figure out who. Yeah, we have to see what is the chronology of this scene. Do you think in a hypothetical fight that Xehanort could fight the Foretellers? Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially Terranort. Like Terranort and Old Man Xehanort definitely can hold their own against the Foretellers. I would say so. Who is Xehanort's mom? That's a question of mine too. You know, I saw a theory proposed that it was Skuld. Pajama Let's Play told me that. And I actually really liked that. I like the idea that Xehanort would be Ephemer and Skuld's kid, because then it's like reuniting that trio again. I actually really like that. But Mama Xehanort has different colored eyes than Skuld, so that kind of puts that theory to bed for me. But I did like it. Gummy Phone says Brain is more likely to be revealed as Braid Red Scarf theory. Yeah, one second. Red Scarf. Oh, as Brain. Oh, as Whoa. Okay, it clicked. If Brain became Braig, then Lushu and Brain. Okay, that's a mind fuck that I can't grasp right now, but I like it. Felicia says, and Xehanort is technically the player character. I guess it would be full circle for Ephemer. That's why it does make sense at the end of the day. Oh no, what did I do with it? What did I do with it? There you are. That's why it makes sense to me. Justin Waffle says, player as a reincarnation of baby Xehanort is a kid. Xehanort is a young Xehanort. From the ending of Birth by Sleep, secret episode, Aqua fell into the realm of darkness. I don't think I understood the point, Justin Waffle. Feel free to message that again. Maybe we'll see his mom in Missing Link. Well, that's the other question, right? Like, was baby Xehanort born during Missing Link? Or was he born during... before then, right? Because by the time Brain gets to Scala, Ephemer's dead. You know? So, if Brain's already in Scala by the time Missing Link starts, then I'm not sure that could work. Mostly Last says, the real question is, why did the blue robe specifically take him to Destiny Islands unless there's more to the world than we know? There's a lot more to this world than we know. Yeah, there's a lot more to this world than we know. I've always kind of wondered what's up with Destiny Islands. Everyone keeps getting sent there, you know? Don't forget that Kairi got sent there. Xehanort got sent there. Sora was sent there. I mean, Sora could have been born there, you know? Ephemer is the first citizen of Scala, so I assume the well-established Scala takes place sometime after his death, 100%. And only after he died would they have made a statue for him. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, and Gummy Phone, you're right. That would cause, if the whole Lushu and Brain thing, that would cause a complete paradox and ruin. That's a good point. It's an island of destiny. Yeah, those who are, I guess, those who are destined to contend with fate end up at Destiny Islands, right? Think about it. Kairi had a huge hand in changing fate, Destiny Islands. Sora had a huge hand in changing fate, Destiny Islands. Xehanort had a huge hand in changing fate, Destiny Islands. And the thing about all three of them, again, I don't know about Sora, but at least with Xehanort and Kairi, we know they weren't born on Destiny Islands. They were sent there. That's interesting. That's interesting. Hey, yo, Billy the Kid, are you serious? Dropping in with a $5 super chat. A Sage of the Lodge dropping a $5 super chat. Can we get some emotes in the lodge for our man, the legend, Billy the Kid Lawrence, dropping a $5 super chat? That goes a long fucking way, my dude. That goes a long way. Xehanort never had a real daddy. Sora feels bad about this. Sora asks Genie to go back in time to take care of him. Robe's blue because it's the Genie from Aladdin. He did it. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on the Landy Lodge. From a Sage of the Lodge himself, the man in the blue robe is the Genie from Aladdin because Sora feels bad that Xehanort grew up in a fatherless home. I think that's beautiful. That's moving. But Billy the Kid, you're a fucking legend, my dude. Thank you for that $5 super chat. That's fucking awesome, dude. Thank you. All right. Just a Waffle says, oh, I was saying that when defeating the Dark Hide, Red Eye Heartless, when Aqua said, and all the foreshadowing different versions of Xehanort growing up in the island, which was too small. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. I see what you're saying now. Gubby Phone says, a child in isolation on this island. Ooh, what am I doing? My bad. I kept the music rolling. Anyway, shout out to Akira the Don, the DJ who made that. Anyway, the Gummy Phone says, a child in isolation on this island shouldn't be able to come from the future and let himself off the island unless he swam off the first timeline. Well, here's the thing, right? We've learned that every world spins on a different time axis. So maybe the reason people get sent to Destiny Islands is because they need to be preserved for the future or something. Because again, Kingdom Hearts 3 made sure we knew that every world was spinning on a different time axis. So maybe the reason Xehanort got sent to Destiny Islands was to preserve him for the future, right? Because maybe Destiny Islands is, because he gets sent back to Scala, right? Yeah, that's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. Because he's born in Scala, he gets sent to Destiny Islands, and then he gets brought back to Scala when it's all built up and beautiful, and it doesn't have that rustic vibe anymore. That explains the only reason Xehanort would be able to exist in those two significantly different Scala Kylops. He was born, and whatever syndicate there is that's working, right? Like Sigurd, right? Sigurd is obviously working with a syndicate that was there to receive Brain at his checking point. They sent Xehanort to Destiny Islands to preserve him, send him into the future when Scala was fully built so that he could fulfill this role. Like, it's shit like that that makes me think we're going to learn so much. We're going to learn, like, Xehanort wasn't just a pawn for the Master. Xehanort was probably a pawn for the people working against the Master. Like, it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy. All right, Felicia says, so could Skuld and Erd and Verdandi end up on Destiny Islands? Very possible. Very possible. I think what's even more possible is a reunion between the three and they might become a trio. I don't know, but that's possible. Nocturnal says the Book of Prophecy must have mentioned the Darkseeker, so people of Missing Link must have anticipated his birth. That's right. He's a child of prophecy. Interesting. Interesting. I think it's Ava. You know, Bot Boy, if you want to flesh out why exactly you think it's Ava, I would love to read that in the chat. Black Red Pill 2. The thing about Destiny Islands is that it isn't just about changing fates. It's specifically tied to Kingdom Hearts being involved in that fate change. Kingdom Hearts 1, Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 3. You're right, because this is where Riku was bequeathed, right? Like, chance meetings, meetings of destiny, encounters of destiny happen on this island. You know? It's where Aqua met Sora and Riku for the first time. It's where Aqua was pulled out of the realm of darkness. It's a great point. What if one of the graves is Xehanort's mother or two for his parents? See, here's the thing. I don't think Xehanort's going to get to meet his mom. I don't think Xehanort meets his mom. I think his mom sends him to Destiny Islands, and by the time he comes back to Scala, it's been like hundreds of years or something. Okay. A Light Within Ven says, that'd be heartbreaking. However, Eric is... Oop, lost you there. Lost you. However, Eric has said that it wasn't Xehanort's fault, implying it may be people connected to Xehanort. There you go. That's a good point. It says, no wonder Master of Masters was so close to Xehanort, if true. Exactly, because he was a key part of everything that was going on. Oh, man. Let's see. A Light Within Ven says, that's right. Maybe Xehanort was seen as a bad prophecy to come. His mom wanted to change that, so she tried to save his fate by giving him up. Yet, maybe trying to get him away. That could ultimately be it. That could ultimately be it. Is they tried to send him away to get him away from that prophecy. But then on Destiny Islands, he still had this hunger to see other worlds. That is cool. Felicia says, so if this is the case, from what you mentioned about Destiny Islands being somewhere sent to, could this expand Sora's origins? What if Quadratum is really where Sora is from? Is any of this for real or not? Felicia, I love that. I love that. If Sora... Not only that, oh, what's the line? What's the line? Faye, so what you just said, right? What if Quadratum is really where Sora is from? Remember the line from the trailer? They can take your world. They can take your heart. Cut you loose from all you know. But if it's your fate, then every step forward will always be a step closer to home. Maybe you're onto something, Faye. Maybe Quadratum or World of Fiction really is Sora's home. DJ Ghoul says, I don't think he meets his mother, but I think he finds answers to his past and discovers the location of where his mom's buried. Oh, yeah. Okay, Black Red Pill 2 says, the question is then asked, is it Nort's prophecy or fear he would fulfill players' destiny? All leaders were supposed to become vessels to the will for darkness. Interesting. Interesting, Red Pill. I don't know. That's a great question. I'll have to ponder that. I will have to ponder that. Okay. All right, let's run it back with some Norts here. All right, let's see. Let me check my notes. Let me see. I know I had a bunch of stuff. I covered that. That's what I wanted to talk about. Okay. That's what I wanted to talk about. So, here's the thing. And we've touched on this a little bit. How do I put this? I have to think this through a little bit before I get on it. So we're going to see that scene between Xehanort and the Master of Masters again. We're not only going to see the scene from Remind again, we're going to see the first encounter between the two. When it comes to the Master of Masters, what I want to know is he the one who set Xehanort on this path? Or did he, like, usurp him? You know what I mean? Did he... I guess what I'm trying to say, was the Master the catalyst of Xehanort's destiny? Or did he, like, kind of piggyback on it? I guess that would be my point. Because they've deliberately shown us that we're going to see these scenes between Xehanort and the Master, but what we don't know is, you know, what's necessarily discussed in those scenes. But I need to know. There's so much I need to know about that meeting between the Master and Xehanort. There's so much I need to know. But ultimately what we need to find out is ultimately whether or not Xehanort really knew who the Master was. Because that's something that's been a problem for me. So he meets the Master gives him this coat, this Master has all this wisdom, the Master seems to know so much that nobody else seems to know. And Xehanort's really going to go the rest of his life not thinking about it. Xehanort's really going to go on for the rest of his days and come up with this plan to reset the world and not think about this guy who had more knowledge than him and was able to send him on a world tour and give him a black coat. I don't know. I need, there's something more I need. Oh, what the hell? Whoa! Ladies and gentlemen, Big Poppy Anime. That is the fucking greatest name I've ever seen. Big Poppy Anime. Just dropped $10! $10 on us! Because it's very clear that Sora in Kingdom Hearts 4 and beyond will become a true Keyblade Master and will face even greater hardship than in 3. Where do you think they're going to take his character in the new arc? That's a great question, Big Poppy. And with that $10 super chat, I will answer it promptly. Where are they taking his arc? Well, I'll tell you this. The future of Kingdom Hearts is very Sora-centric. Here, let's switch this up a little bit. The future, first of all, thank you so much again, Big Poppy. $10 isn't fucking cheap. So genuinely thank you for that. Just know I never need that. I'm more than happy just to have you here hanging out. Anything like that is a bonus, but thank you. Your immense gratitude. I just want to convey that clearly. But anyway, I think the future of Kingdom Hearts is insanely Sora-centric. And what I mean by that is, like, if you were a fan of the Birth by Sleep trio or the Days trio, I don't think they're getting a lot of screen time. I think maybe we get a side game or a subtitle game in the future that fleshes them out a little bit. But as far as number titles go, you're not going to get a lot of screen time for these supporting characters. I think the future of Kingdom Hearts is going to be centered very much on Sora, as well as Riku and Kairi. As far as Sora's arc for the future, man, you know, I love what they did in Kingdom Hearts 3. I love that by the time of Dream Drop Distance, Sora had saved the world like so many times that he was cocky. He's like, I could pass this test. He honestly, in a way, he kind of sounded like the fan base. He's like, how is Sora not a master? So I kind of love that in Dream Drop Distance, he was kind of pompous and was like, Sora, Riku and I can handle anything. We'll pass this test with flying colors. And boom, he was that close to being Xehanort's puppet. And then I love that in Kingdom Hearts 3, that gave him a level of insecurity and that we watched him transcend that insecurity by way of the ending in Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remind. But seeing that Sora has transcended this particular flaw or this particular insecurity, when it comes to his personal character arc, where they take it from here, if I were to guess, he's gonna have to deal with his recklessness, right? He addressed his insecurity, right, in Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remind. He addressed his insecurity and he addressed his pompousness in Dream Drop Distance. I think the next thing he needs to address is his recklessness. The whole misusing the power of waking thing was heroic and epic and he gave himself up for Kairi, which is beautiful. But I think that recklessness is what Sora needs to address from here. That would be my guess. Big Papi Anime is a true man of culture. Absolute man of culture. Coming Phone says Sora's going to mature more, methinks. Yeah, I think we see that too. And I think part of that is getting past that recklessness and trying to find real solutions, you know, and not choosing a solution that just makes a new problem. Like, that's actually Lushu's criticism of Sora in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 3. And I think it's valid. He's like, I don't, like, you're, like, even though him being self-sacrificing is a beautiful thing and him transcending his insecurity is a beautiful thing, as Lushu says, I don't admire one guy leaping into danger if someone has to dive in after him. Yeah, Sora, congrats. You saved Kairi, but now Riku's got to come save your ass. So I'd actually like to see that addressed. I actually would like to see that addressed. Andy Brew in the chat. What up, my man? What up? I don't think we got any mods on Twitch around, so let me throw you a little shout out myself. Andy, how you doing, man? Maria's here too. Landy, I was in school, but I'm here. I have a Dark Road theory. Drop it on us. We're in the chat portion of the episode. But that's where I think Sora's character goes from here. Black Red Pill says Sora's big arc is either tackling his recklessness or learning how to count. Hopefully both. I would hope so. How's it going, Blaze Burnett? But getting back to the Master of Masters, I cannot accept. I'm just going to say I cannot accept that Xehanort is going to be aware of the Master of Masters, that he has all this knowledge, he's able to give him this cloak, he knows all these things, and that he's just going to move on with the rest of his life, not thinking about it or addressing it. Now, in the Remind cutscene, Xehanort did say, you know, I never knew his name, and perhaps I never will. But I want Xehanort to consider him a threat, you know? I want Xehanort to consider that he's a problem. You know, I don't want Xehanort to be, because Xehanort's a smart guy, right? He figured out how to time travel. He forged the Keyblade twice. I mean, one time was an almost, but he practically did it. He plays 4D chess. He has 1.5 million fail-safes. So it's like, I'd have to believe that Xehanort in some way is planning for the Master. And also, and something I hope we see in Dark Road, Xehanort's going to make a comeback, man. Xehanort's coming back. I think it'll be young Xehanort that we see, but he's not going to let himself be a scapegoat, man. As he says at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, when he accepts his defeat to Ericus, what does he say? What does he say? He says, I never lose. That's because I never lose. That's something I want to see. To what the fuck? Hold up. Hold up. Grey Goose Gummy Bears. I'm sorry, the people giving me super chats today, Billy the Kid Lawrence, Big Papi Anime, and now Grey Goose Gummy Bears? These are the fucking most creative legends I've ever heard of in my life. But Grey Goose Gummy Bears just dropped 20 on us! Saying I'm still wondering why Nomura kept drawing so many comparisons between Riku and Xehanort. I feel like one of them is from the Unreality or Quadratum. Ooh. Ooh. Now that's interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see some more of those parallels too, but dude, your comment aside, Grey Goose, you're a freaking psychopath, man. Can we please light up the chat for Grey Goose? Please? Oh my god, dude. You psycho? 20 bones? Jesus. Thank you. Again, guys, I really don't know how to like show that I'm gratuitous and thankful, so I'm just gonna keep telling you, and I hope that's enough. But anyway, Grey Goose, you are the fucking man. And yeah, I don't think those comparisons between Riku and Xehanort are over. Again, I just don't think Xehanort's done. I don't think he's gonna settle into being a freaking scapegoat. He plans for every eventuality. He's got 1.5 million fail-safes, and he never loses. Think about that. Mostly last adds to the hype with a $5 super chat. Thanks so much. Mostly last, you've been hanging out in the stream so much lately. Hanging out here in the chat. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, my man. You're the fucking best. Thank you so much. Again, guys, hanging out in the chat is enough. Hanging out in the chat is enough. Well, what the fuck? Yeah. Billy! What are you doing? 50? 50? Dude! I'm a crackhead talking about Kingdom Hearts, man! Some people are psychopaths, and then there's $50 people. Weirdos. Yeah, fucking weirdos, man. Billy, holy shit. Billy the fucking kid, man. Holy fuck. Dude, 50? I don't, I'll tell you that. I don't deserve 50. Bro, I don't deserve 50. Thank you. You're the fucking man, dude. If you ever need me to kill someone for you, and yeah, I'm a cheap hire, $50. If you ever need someone taken care of, call your boy. Call your boy. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you, Billy. It's a binding contract. You got it here. You have a vocal contract embedded on YouTube forever. That's Google. That's powerful shit. That's powerful shit. Oh, wait, what the fuck? Andy? Andy, come on. Andy, that's bullshit. Andy, that's bullshit. That's bullshit, Andy. I have nothing to add. I just want to support the hype. He adds to the hype, ladies and gentlemen. Andy fucking Brew. If you're not following Andy Brew, I can't do business with you. Plain and simple, folks. Plain and simple. Oh, God, I got the shout out wrong. If you don't follow Andy Brew, I can't do business with you. Follow him on Twitch. Follow him on YouTube. Big friend of the lodge, and he'll be a big friend of you. Holy shit. Y'all are crazy, man. Y'all are crazy. Someone's going to come along and top me with a hundo bomb one day. Dude. Actually, well, Mookie on my birthday did drop a hundo. He did drop a hundo on my birthday. So we gotta give a shout out to our boy Mookie there. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Maria dropped a theory in here, and I think it got lost in the hype. Okay, so here we go. Maria says, well, so when they remake the Remind cutscene in Dark Road, instead of cutting... Oh god, I left the music on. I always leave the music on. Well, so when they remake the Remind cutscene in Dark Road, instead of cutting the Master's name before he says it, they're gonna cut it after the first letter, and we're all gonna go crazy. Maria, that's so smart. Maria, that's so smart. If they gave us just the first letter of the Master's name, people would lose their shit. Oh, Maria, you're a genius. You're a genius. Somebody get Maria in the writer's room, please. Somebody get her in the writer's room, please. All right. Kingdom Hearts 4 now covered. You know what? Black Red Pill, that's a great point. That is such a great point. I'm going to take the money made from today, put it aside, and use it for Kingdom Hearts 4. Yo, shout out! Shout out! We have a new Sage of the Lodge. We have a new Sage of the Lodge. Grey Goose Gummy Bears Psychos. Grey Goose, my man, thank you so much. Welcome to the Sages of the Lodge. Oh, my Lord. You all deserve the world. There's enough, there's enough of you on there now. I got enough of you sages over here. We might have to start doing some favors for y'all. Y'all are really going to bat for me. Y'all are really fucking going to bat for me, and I'm feeling it. I'm fucking feeling it. It's fucking Dark Road, baby. It's fucking hype, and we're getting after it. It's in 2 weeks. I don't know. What's going on, Jan? Welcome here. Yo! Come on! Y'all keep being psychos. We're never gonna get to Dark Road. Big Poppy, my man. I'm just gonna put you here. I'm just gonna put you here. Big Poppy Anime. I'm just gonna put you right there. So we got all four of you. Man, you guys are psychos. You guys are psychos. Knocking shit over on my dad. I don't know. I gotta do something. I gotta do something. I gotta do something for you psychos. I don't know. Y'all are going crazy for me today, and all I'm doing is being a crackhead talking about Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, happy Friday. Damn, I look away for a moment and there's all sorts of supers and stuff. People are going nuts. People are going nuts. I don't know. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. But listen, like I said, next week we're going to be doing a watch party. We're going to rewatch Dark Road, talk about it then, and then we're live streaming Dark Road on the 26th. That's what y'all need? Fine by me. Fine by me. I'll be live all day. I took off work that day. Perfect repayment? You got it. It'll be Crackhead Theory City on Friday the 26th at the Lodge. That's what y'all want. That's what y'all get. Do a 24-hour live stream for Dark Road, maybe? 24's nuts. 24's nuts. I need help with 24. I gotta say, maybe it's because I'm an old man. I could do 12. And I say I'm an old man. I'm fucking 30. But like staying up 24 hours, that's just gonna screw me up for like a week. But I could maybe do 12. But no, we'll go live all day on Friday. On Friday the 26th, talking shit. We'll go live all day on the 26th, talking shit. All right. That shit aside, let's get back into Dark Road here. Shadow Flare, my man, says, so since the Queen of Hearts was possessed by the darkness of wrath, which other darknesses do you suspect managed to escape Master of Masters' traps? Somehow Era failed to contain wrath, so who else failed? I think they all failed. That's my prediction, Shadow Flare. I think they all failed. Darkness can't be taken down that easy. That's what I'm saying. I think they all fail. I think they'll all make their way out. Just a Waffle says, Lady Lodge, back to the Xehanort. Doesn't lose. Xehanort, because I never lose. Yuzora says, sorry, but I don't lose. What if Xehanort is Yuzora? That's fucking crazy. Well, you know, there was that theory for the longest time. If anyone can remember the channel who did it, please shout them out. There was that theory that Yuzora was the player, right? That Yuzora was the player character. But now we know Xehanort's the player character. What if when Xehanort died, like the player just went into Yuzora? I don't know. Trying to make your theory work, Just a Waffle, but that's cool. Heading out, my man. Gotta work. Much love. Love you, Billy. You're the man, dude. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for being a sage. And thank you for those psycho super chats. That's what we call those, psycho super chats. DJ Ghoul says, I want to see Apprentice Xehanort experimenting on Subject X. I know. There's so much. There's just so much that Xehanort did off screen that I want to see. And I have to believe that's why they made Dark Road in the first place. Maria says, maybe the guy talking to Odin in the trailer is Loki. I'm all for that. I'm all for Thor and Loki having some rep in this. Gummy Phone says, I've been saying Yuzora is the player for the longest time. Probably my channel. That's probably where I heard it, Gummy Phone. So if you guys are interested in that theory, that the player might be connected to Yuzora, make sure you check out Gummy Phone's channel. He's in the YouTube chat. Easy to find. He also give him a shout out. He makes some sick Kingdom Hearts content that's worth checking out. So definitely check out my buddy Gummy Phone. He makes some really cool shit. This isn't what I really look like. You know, the whole everyone is Xehanort, everyone is Sora meme would turn out to be crazy. If the Master of Masters ended up being Sora and Yuzora ended up being Xehanort, sheesh. Okay. Black Red Pill says Master of Masters' entire plan was a failure. Watch him be a dark god out to destroy light itself. I'm almost there. I think he wants light and darkness gone. I think he's at the point where he's like, light and darkness just get in the way. So he discovers this world of fiction where maybe those rules don't apply. And I think he might want to transfer the world into this world of fiction. Honestly, you know, we've talked about it a lot, this chat. There's been a lot of overlap between Kingdom Hearts and Naruto. We've talked about that today. I think the Master of Masters wants to launch Project Tsuki no Mei. If you know, you know. Moving on. Will Sigurd show his face on Dark Road? No, they're going to save that for Missing Link. They'll save Sigurd for Missing Link. Yuzora is the player from Missing Link. Oh. You know something? Call me crazy. That might work. Could the one with baby Xehanort be Odin? It's possible. No, I don't think so. Now that I thought about it for a second. Maybe the interaction with the Master of Masters is what pushes Xehanort to want to hit reset. He realizes he can't surpass him or the darkness without using Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, I need something like that. I can't just accept that. Because here's the thing. Xehanort doesn't know that the Master of Masters is a Keyblade wielder, which explains why he wouldn't think he's a power threat. But I can't just accept that he thinks the Master's out there not watching. He's got the clothes down to a T. I mean, that is true. That is true. That's a good point. I honestly think Yozora, not the real Yozora, is Master of Masters. Oh, that the body Yozora's in would be the Master of Masters' body. Interesting. And that maybe the Master of Masters took Yozora's actual body. Interesting, Faye. Faye, this is why I like having you here. This is why I like having you here. Who's to say the old man isn't Lucian because he was supposed to watch the Keyblade, right? Yes, but isn't that technically before Xehanort had the Keyblade? The Master of Masters is Madara. Hey! Hey! You could see it. You could see it. DJ Ghoul says, it looks like the old man dies while Xehanort is a teenager. True, true. Lingering in the back. So don't think it's Odin or Lucia. That's what I'm saying. I think it's Ephemer. I think it's Ephemer. And then I think it's after... Whoa! And then maybe it's after Ephemer dies, like when he's teenage Xehanort. Maybe it's right after Ephemer dies that somebody shows up to bring him back to Scala. Or maybe Xehanort was never supposed to go back to Scala, right? Maybe he was never supposed to go back. Okay, let's see. Hey, Austin Yoon. It's not a mistake. It's a masterpiece. I love that. Maybe Master Masters is like Xehanort to Terra in Birth by Sleep. Interesting. Maybe Master of Masters is like Xehanort to Terra in Birth by Sleep. I could get into that. I could see that. Yeah, if the Master of Masters would be compared to Madara, maybe there's still a bigger, grander bad out there. Let me tell you something. I think so. I think so. I think there may even be someone behind the Master of Masters. I think there may even be someone in Kingdom Hearts itself. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Austin Yoon, for some reason, keeps saying it's not a mistake, it's a masterpiece. I don't know why. But anyway. Faye says, forgive me if my mind's gone blank, but why does Xehanort's eyes turn yellow? Yeah, no, we need to see that happen too. Because he's a great-eyed motherfucker, and then he ends up with yellow at the end. So we need to see that too. We need to see that too. Okay. I searched this. Owl in Latin is Noctua. If the master's name starts with an N, I'm telling you, his name's not Nomura, it's Noctua. Which would be interesting, right? Because he's voiced by Ray Chase, who was Noctis. And we have the whole Noctis Yozora thing happening. Wow. Wow. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? I kind of like that. Maria, I like that. It was Ansem who sent Xehanort back to college, so I agree with the theory that they were trying to avoid Xehanort's terrible future written in the Book of Prophecies. Yeah, I can see that. My boy Eugenio, who's been around for a while, ladies and gentlemen, says there is for sure someone behind the master. Wouldn't it make any sense to show... Wouldn't it make any sense to show the antagonist of a game almost 10 years before it comes out? Foretellers are not the antagonists either. I think they're going to be the antagonists, but they won't be the villains, right? They will stand in opposition to our heroes, but I think there might actually be a bigger threat behind them, which they end up unifying for. Yeah, Austin, dude, you're going to... Austin, on YouTube, you're going to have to explain yourself what It's Not a Mistake, It's a Masterpiece is. Because if you keep doing that, I'm going to kick you from the chat. That's my warning. We will lay the ban hammer on you, baby. We will lay the ban hammer on you. If there's no explanation, we're banning you, Austin. Anyway, I thought it was because of darkness influence. Yeah, it is because of darkness influence mostly last, but I want to see the moment. I want to see the moment that darkness influence takes hold. It's a mistake, not a masterpiece. He's an agent from Nomura. I'd love it. It could be Nomura's burner account for all we know. Red Pill says, so you think Dark Road will go into how Nort comes to learn about the Keyblade? It's been unmentioned entirely. Yeah, who mentioned that to him? I bet you it was the Master. I bet you it was either the Master or Odin or Lushu. One of those three. Master of Masters and the Foretellers are just the chess pieces of the real antagonists, which will only be revealed when the game releases. I like it. I like it. I think Kairi's Keyblade is special. I think Kairi's Keyblade might be pretty special like that Shadow Flare. I'm with you. Let's see. I think Ephemer or whoever raised Xehanort was the only one to keep Xehanort off the radar and away from Master of Masters. That's what I have to believe, right? I have to believe that they saw the book. They saw that Xehanort was just going to be a pawn in his wicked game. So instead what they decided to do was try to hide him away. But it was right after Ephemer died that the Master probably set things in more motion because he was gone. What's going on, Blaze? Welcome to the chat. And yeah, Oswald and Quadratum would be amazing. Who could be the one to set Xehanort on the dark path? It has to be the Master. Has to be the Master. Okay. Okay, so we are an hour and a half in. I believe, let me check my notes. I think we've covered everything I wanted to cover for the predictions and theories. Anybody in the chat got any more predictions? Any more feelings about what we're going to see before we wrap up? Let's see. Oswald's going to slap Sora for mistaking him for Mickey. That would be funny. Like, don't you dare call me that. Maybe if Master of Masters was the one to kill him off writing in the book. Maybe. But who knows? Who knows? All I know is it's going to be a very exciting couple of weeks if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan. Next week, like I said, we're going to do a watch party. We're going to see if we missed anything along the way. See what's floating around in Dark Road that we may have missed. And then, yeah, on the 26th, we're going to be live waiting for it. I'm not going to lie. I'm so scared we're going to be sitting around waiting for fan translations. Like, I'm absolutely horrified that we're going to be sitting around here waiting for fan translations. Blueski30, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. And ladies and gentlemen, please let that be a reminder to you that if you're on YouTube and you're not following us on Twitch, please feel free to consider it. We are approaching 500 followers on Twitch. We are at 445. So anybody who can help us close that gap would very much be appreciated. But anyway, I'm so horrified we're going to have fan translations to rely on, but we'll see. Let's see what you sickos have to say. Let's see. So how does Xehanort know Sora's voice can't reach him in Melody of Memory? There's so much Xehanort knows that we don't know. Still, I really hope Dark Road covers a lot of things. 100%. There's so much that Xehanort knows. Like, how would you know the voice can't reach? He has a lot of knowledge about Quadratum. Tembaliz, thank you so much for that follow on Twitch. Kid Q, so did Master of Master disappear from Daybreak Town into Quadratum? I think so. I think that's what made him maybe want to disappear. Vanish, dim, fade. I mean, he already kind of did, but I think that's where he went. Kid Q. Prediction. We will see the memory from Nort that summons Marluxia, Larxene, Skuld, and Ven as a waypoint. This is what I'm saying. There's so many things that happened off screen. And so many of the off-screen things involve Xehanort. I need to see those fleshed out. Jan says, I'm still keeping my Xehanort was cursed by the Dark Mirror, and that's why he went bald spiel. Yes, but didn't we see in that little preview that he was already bald when he approached the Dark Mirror? But maybe it happened on the first time. Maleficent was supposed to be the waypoint. Okay. There you go. Just a Waffle says, it is very hard for all the Survivor Dandelions when Ventus was still alive for Ephemer, Skuld, Brain, Lorium, Elrena, and Serlitia. Reunited when they really wanted to come back and feel bad for Ven. I'd love to see all of them reunited. That's a reunion I'm interested in seeing. DJ says, don't forget about my Data Scala theory. I think there's still a really good chance it could come true. It's the one I sent on Twitter, but can resend. Please feel free to do so. If I'm not mistaken, DJ, your theory is that Scala is built in a data world. That's why the two Scalas are different, is one of them is in a data world. I would love that. Mostly Last says, what if the Master of Masters is just a position? And he sent Lushu on a millennia-long journey for his Mark of Mastery exam to assume the position. I've always kind of bought into that Lushu might be a clone of the Master of Masters. Shadowflare says, do you have a Discord server? Yes. Let me fetch that for you all. I will fetch that for you now. I mean it. I swear this time I mean it, y'all. I'm going to actually make an effort to be active on Discord. Because I looked at my Discord today, and there's a lot of you guys in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop that right there. Okay. Moving on. Where were we? Oh, boy. We were way up. We were way up here. Okay. I wonder if Xehanort was royalty. His mom could have been a higher up in Scala. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing what did Xehanort's mom do? Like, what was her role? You know, was she a shopkeeper or was she running shit? Not that shopkeepers don't run shit, but like, you know, was she queening? You know, the one with the Master of Masters in Quadratum is not Luciu either. Neither Zigbar nor Demix. My gut tells me that it's somebody else yet to be announced. I think it might be Sigurd. Hence the "Do you remember me?" Huh? Predicting we'll actually learn the Master of Masters name. I don't want to learn it. I don't want to learn the Master's name in Dark Road. I think it would be great if we saved that for I think it'd be great if we saved that for a 3D title, because I want the reveal to be epic, right? Don't tease the Master's name in a main title game and then reveal it in a mobile game that failed. I think that would just be in poor taste. But that's just me. Shadow Flare says, "Oh yeah, the dark sky at the beginning of the end of the world. Was that the nighttime final world?" Yes, I think that was the world of fiction equivalent of the final world. Nomura will put that in Kingdom Hearts 4 at earliest, I think. That's what I think. I think we see it in Kingdom Hearts 4. I think that's the best time you can predict seeing the Master's name. If not, Kingdom Hearts 5, you know? Okay, let's see here. Yep, both Scalas exist in the present. Gray Scala is the rebuilt Data Daybreak Town with the connection to Game Central Station, and the Four Darknesses still trapped. White Scala is the real Scala. Oh man, this is so exciting, man. It's stuff like that that gets me going. Make sure you guys are following my man DJ too. I think Gummy Phone says, I think Xehanort's mom was crafted by Ephemer. I think without a female companion, Ephemer used the Book of Prophecies to learn about replicas. Norse myth. Yeah, it is true. How did Ephemer get people into Scala? Interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. A name and face reveal in one would be insane. I want it. I want it all in one. Take off that hood and tell me who you are. Blaze says Kingdom Hearts is just, it's full of lore. 100%. Jan says I'm in tons of Discord groups, so if there'd be a live on your Discord, I would probably go nuts from the notification sounds. But if you will do it on Discord, I will be there. Big Puppy says, with all the things Xehanort taught Sora through his journey up to Remind, I think Sora has been Xehanort's unwilling pupil. Big Puppy, that's my headcanon. Until they outright tell me he's not, I honestly think Xehanort is effectively Sora's mentor. He's the one who laid out the obstacles for Sora to defeat. Sora's technical bequeathing is Xehanort handing him that Keyblade. And if you pay attention in Remind, even though Xehanort is acting antagonistically, it does seem like he's trying to help Sora. You could say the same thing for Xehanort in Melody of Memory. He might be acting antagonistically towards Kairi, but he is trying to deliver information to her. So I don't think it's that crazy to think that way, Big Poppy. I think Xehanort not only will be back, but I think in a lot of ways, he was Sora's master. Moving on. Biggest reveal. I am Mika Bad. The biggest reveal in Dark Road. People can have babies. Yeah. Reproduction's a thing in Kingdom Hearts. Who would have guessed? All right. His mom was made holy. What a theory. Yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting if there's like a biblical origin to that kind of stuff. That escape NPCs can become full people. Should a heart recognize them? Then they just need a real body to become fully real, such as a replica body. Yeah. Interesting. We'll need that missing link. I'm going to need to know how Ephemer repopulated existence. Didn't Dark Road mention that when the world's rebuilt, it builds the landscape, then the structures, then the people? Been a while since I've seen the cutscenes. Maybe. We'll see. I think Baldnort helped Sora because he's Ephemer's reincarnation. You think Sora is Ephemer's reincarnation? Interesting. It would make the Keyblade graveyard scene a little more profound. Kingdom Hearts is one of those games when you could spend weeks, if not months, deciphering every detail in one game. Weeks and months? Blaze, I've spent 20 years, and I still feel like I don't have that good a grip. Oh, boy. But no, I'm with you there, Blaze. I'm with you there. Justin Waffle says it's rough for Sora coming back if he's from the unreality world of Quadratum. Yeah, no, they did even mention that you're not going to be able to return to the world from which you came. There's no people there because of that. Okay, so I wonder if people can be created from memory, right? If people can be drawn up and made from memory. I think it was when they were Algebra. Yeah, we got it here. That's interesting. So people just kind of, yeah, okay, maybe. I'm just saying, don't tell me, show me. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to wrap up today's episode. This was a fun one. This was a wild one. Listen, leave it to Kingdom Hearts to get the fan base so excited about a mobile game that we're not going to play, right? Only Kingdom Hearts can get us so excited for a game none of us are going to play, but we're all in it for the story, and there's something special about that. The good news is, Other Than Kingdom Hearts is going to make a game like this ever again. I think they've moved on, and they know they have to do more if they want to retain their audience, which is why I think Missing Link, even though it's a mobile game, looks way different than Dark Road and Union Cross, and I think that is a great thing. This has been a lot of fun, everybody. I have High Five Ghost, my boy! How long have you been in here? I hope I haven't missed you. High Five Ghost. Me and that man have been friends for fucking, it's almost 2 decades now. A decade and a half, man. But Jesus. But yeah, it's a special time to be a Kingdom Hearts fan. Big Poppy says, see you, my boy. I'm not playing Missing Link, but I definitely will be watching all the cutscenes and following the story beats. Yeah, I think there are a lot of people like that. I'm going to give Missing Link a chance. I'm going to project it from my phone on the screen and play with mouse and keyboard. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. But hey, I got so many shout outs to give. First, let's give a shout out to the Blue Sky 30 and Tembalis for following me over on Twitch. And then let's pull up all you psychos who dropped those super chats on us today. Let's give some shout outs to Billy the Kid Lawrence for dropping us with that $5. Then Big Poppy hitting us with the $10. Grey Goose with the 20. Mostly last with the 5. Billy the Kid being a fucking psychopath and dropping $50 on us. And Andy Brew with that 10. Additionally, we have 2 new Sages of the Lodge. That being Big Poppy and Grey Goose. So major shout out to those handsome, distinguished, and cultured gentlemen. All of you are awesome. Thank you so much for the support and for hanging out. This has been another amazing episode of the Landy Lodge. And again, you guys really are what make this show so special. I could be up here yapping all day, but if you guys weren't here to go back and forth, the show wouldn't be nearly as exciting. So thanks for joining me on that. You guys are all amazing. We're gonna wrap it up here. Let's see. Let's raid somebody over on Twitch. Who we got? Who's playing? Oh, Kobe. Kobe's shouting now. That's my boy. Let's see. Who is live? Oh, wow. Lots of people. Lots of choices. Let's raid our man Guides, KH Guides, who's streaming Kingdom Hearts. It only seems appropriate. All right, y'all. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. You guys are the absolute best. I absolutely love you. We're going to stream. Today's Friday. I'm probably taking tomorrow off streaming, but we will stream Kingdom Hearts 3 on Sunday. You guys are all amazing. Thank you again for hanging out. We will talk to you next time.